Hey everyone, welcome back to American English Podcast. I'm Lucas.
And I am Sophia. New listeners, make sure to hit subscribe and drop a like. You're about to discover the secret that textbooks never teach.
Listen, Sophia, I need to tell you about this hilarious but also kind of sad moment from my class yesterday.
Oh no, what happened?
So I have this student, David, who's been studying English for 8 years. 8 years!
Wow, that's dedication.
Right? His grammar is absolutely perfect. He can explain the difference between present perfect and past perfect better than most native speakers.
So what's the problem?
He ordered coffee yesterday and the barista asked him to repeat himself 3 times. 3 times!
Oh no.
And the sentence was so simple. Can I have a medium coffee with cream?
But his grammar was perfect, right?
Flawless, but his intonation was completely flat. He sounded like a robot reading a manual.
The words were right, but the music was wrong.
Exactly, and that's the shocking truth we're revealing today. Your grammar doesn't matter if your intonation is off.
Native speakers don't listen to your words, they listen to your music.
Today, we're breaking down the exact pitch changes and stress patterns that transform robotic speech into authentic conversation.
Stop studying words, start playing the music.
Let's master American intonation.
Here's what no textbook will tell you. Perfect grammar actually ruins your fluency if you focus on it too much.
Wait, that sounds crazy. Explain.
When you're thinking about grammar rules while speaking, what happens to your voice?
It goes flat. You're concentrating so hard on, is this present perfect? Did I use the right preposition? That you forget about melody.
Exactly. You sound like you're reading a legal document.
Meanwhile, native speakers make grammar mistakes all the time.
Me and him went to the store. Grammatically wrong, but nobody cares because the intonation is natural.
Native listeners aren't grammar checkers, they're music listeners.
When your pitch rises and falls naturally, when your stress patterns match expectations, people hear fluent speaker.
But when your grammar's perfect, but your intonation is flat, people hear foreigner struggling with English.
It's brutal but true. Intonation carries more meaning than words.
Listen to this sentence with flat intonation. I didn't say he stole the money.
Boring, robotic, unclear meaning.
Now watch how meaning changes just by changing which word gets stress.
I didn't say he stole the money. Someone else said it.
I didn't say he stole the money, I implied it.
I didn't say he stole the money. Someone else stole it.
Same 7 words, completely different meanings just from stress and pitch.
That's why native speakers can sound sarcastic, angry, or joking using the exact same words.
The music changes everything. So how do we learn this music?
First, we need to understand what makes American English unique.
Imagine this. You walk into a store, you say, I'm going to the store, and the cashier asks, oh, which part of the US are you from?
Not which country, which state.
That's the transformation we're targeting today, and it happens by abandoning individual word pronunciation.
What do you mean?
Most learners practice words in isolation. Store, store, store.
They perfect each individual word.
But then they put them together and it sounds like, I am going to the store.
Each word is clear, but the phrase sounds robotic.
Native speakers don't speak word by word, we speak in phrases with continuous melody.
Listen, I'm gonna to store. It's all connected.
The words blend together, some sounds disappear, and there's a musical arc across the whole phrase.
The pitch rises slightly on gonna, peaks on store, then falls.
That rise and fall is the melody. That's what makes it sound American.
And here's the result-oriented promise. You can shift how you sound in one conversation.
Not months of practice, not years. One conversation where you focus on melody instead of words.
Try this right now. Say, I don't know, while thinking about each word.
I don't know.
Now, say it as one musical phrase with a shrug feeling.
I don't know.
Completely different.
The pitch drops, the words blend, and suddenly you sound natural.
That's the rhythm fix we're teaching today.
So what's the brain hack that makes this automatic?
Here's the neuroscience breakthrough. Your brain remembers songs faster than vocabulary lists.
You can sing along after hearing a song 3 times, but memorizing 20 words takes an hour.
Why? Because music bypasses your conscious analytical brain.
It goes straight to procedural memory, the same system for riding bikes or typing.
You don't think about it, you just do it.
So here's the hack. Treat English intonation like music, not grammar.
Stop studying pitch patterns as rules. Start playing them like melodies.
Here's a common pattern, the statement melody.
English statements end with falling pitch. I like coffee, the voice drops on coffee.
Hum, 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 hum.
Up, then down.
If you keep your pitch flat or rising, it sounds like a question.
I like coffee? Now it sounds uncertain.
So statements must fall. Practice, I'm going home.
I'm going home. Drop that pitch.
Pattern 2, yes, no question rise.
Questions that can be answered with yes or no end with rising pitch.
Do you like coffee? Pitch rises on coffee.
It's the opposite of the statement. Hum, 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 hum. The rise signals, I'm expecting an answer.
Practice, are you coming? Let that pitch soar up.
Pattern 3, WH question, fall.
Here's the tricky one. Questions with who, what, where, when, why, how, end with falling pitch.
Where are you going? Pitch falls on going.
Many learners make it rise, but that sounds unnatural.
WH questions fall just like statements. What's your name? Down on name.
Pattern 4, list intonation.
When listing items, pitch rises on each item except the last.
I need eggs, milk, bread. Up, up, down.
The rising pitch says there's more coming, and the fall says I'm done.
Practice, I speak English, Spanish, and French.
Pattern 5, emphasis stress.
Whatever word you want to emphasize gets to highest pitch.
I didn't steal the money. Emphasizing I makes it defensive.
I didn't steal the money. Emphasizing money questions what was stolen.
You control meaning by controlling pitch.
These 5 patterns handle 90% of American speech.
Master them, and you've mastered American musicality.
Let's do a real transformation.
I was wondering if you could help me.
Robotic version, I was wondering if you could help me.
Every word separate, no melody.
Now the authentic version, words blend. I was becomes I was. Could you becomes could ya.
And the melody peaks on wondering, then falls.
I was wondering if you could help me. Smooth and natural.
Practice with us. Start with the hum. Hum, 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 hum.
Feel that peak? Now add words. I was wondering if you could help me.
Again, I was wondering if you could help me.
That's authentic American intonation.
One more. I'm not sure about that.
Robotic, I am not sure about that.
Authentic, I'm not sure about that. Peak on sure, fall on that.
Notice I'm not sure flows with no break.
The more you blend, the more natural you sound.
These patterns become automatic. American intonation is music, not vocabulary.
5 core patterns: statement falls, yes-no rises, WH falls, list rises then falls, and emphasis stress.
Use brain hacks. Hum melodies first, add hand gestures, treat it like singing.
Stop perfecting individual words, start flowing through phrases.
One conversation focusing on melody transforms how you sound.
Native speakers hear music before words. Give them the melody they expect.
Practice these patterns daily. Hum them in the shower, gesture them while walking.
Your brain will internalize the rhythm and make it automatic.
Subscribe to American English Podcasts for more intonation breakdowns and melody practice.
Stop sounding robotic, start sounding musical.
See you next time.
Take care.